ให้นะครับเดี๋ยวกูติดค้างครับเข้าแล้วใจเย็นแล้วเห็นแล้วใจเย็น
Southern Thailand entered one of its most disruptive flood emergencies in recent history, as prolonged heavy rainfall transformed cities, towns, and rural settlements into waterlogged environments requiring national-scale intervention.
นี่แค่ในบ้านนะคะนอกบ้านไม่ต้องพูดถึงค่ะมิดหัวค่ะ
เราทำมีไฟทุกคนไปแล้วงัวโอ้ยจมน้ำตายน่าสงสาร
นี้หมดนะคะหมู่2ตำบลควนลังอำเภอหาดใหญ่นะคะนี่ค่ะเนี่ยค่ะนี่คือท้ายๆเนี่ยท้ายๆน้ำจะลึกกว่านะครับ
Large areas of land remained underwater for extended periods, complicating assessment and emergency coordination. Authorities were forced to mobilize rapid response teams to areas that had never previously faced such levels of inundation. The scale of the disaster drew immediate public concern and dominated national news coverage.
มา2 คืนค่ะมารับได้แล้วตา มารับได้แล้วตามารับหน่อยได้ไหมคะสู้แม่ลุงแม่
แกจะออกไหมมีกี่คนครับมีกี่คนโอเคคนแก่เราต้องตามกันเลยนะซอยนี้นะโอ้เยอะมาก100 หลังคาเรือนได้ไหมเดี๋ยวเข้ามาผมเข้ามาเช็คก่อนตอนนี้น้ำกำลังลดลงนะครับอย่าให้มีฝนมาเพิ่มพอนะครับนี่น้ำลดลงเรื่อยๆเลยเริ่มมีหลังคาลดแล้วสู้ๆนะทุกคนเราต้องผ่านวิกฤตนี้ไปด้วยกัน
In Hat Yai, commercial activity halted almost overnight as streets filled rapidly with floodwater, preventing movement of goods and services. Shops, offices, and transport hubs were forced to close, and local businesses suffered significant early financial losses. The sudden shutdown disrupted supply chains, leaving communities vulnerable to shortages. Essential economic functions slowed dramatically as floodwater remained in place.
ทำดีละไม่น่าเชื่อนี่แหละว้าวได้กินแล้ว
มากเลยค่ะหลายหลังคาเรือนเลยนะคะขอคนที่ว่าเข้าช่วยเหลือหน่อยค่ะพอดีว่า
เวลา 6:09 น. ของวันที่ 25 เวลา 6:09 น. ระดับน้ำถนนทุ่งเสา
Meteorological reports confirmed 335 millimeters of rainfall in a single day, marking one of the most extreme single-day rainfall events in 3 centuries. The intensity of precipitation exceeded design expectations for urban drainage systems by a wide margin. Authorities struggled to implement effective mitigation strategies under rapidly deteriorating conditions. Many households experienced water intrusion faster than they could evacuate.
ประตูหลายๆอะไรนะพี่แฟนท้องนะ
มีคนมาช่วยแล้วเฮ้ยเหมือนเรือพี่เขาที่รู้จักเลย
เด็กที่พวกนี้นะไม่มาใช่ไหมวะ
Rivers and canals breached containment across several regions, interrupting transport networks and isolating neighborhoods from critical services. The loss of road connectivity made evacuation planning significantly more difficult. Emergency personnel faced dangerous travel routes as they attempted to access stranded communities. Public facilities and private property sustained substantial and costly water damage. Casualty figures increased over time as more areas were reached by search teams. Authorities confirmed at least 160 to 180 fatalities, but acknowledged that remote locations may yield additional numbers. Search operations encountered obstacles including debris, standing water, and unstable terrain. Limited communication with affected communities delayed the reporting of missing persons. Human displacement was extensive, with reports indicating 3 to 4 million people affected across more than 1 million households. Many individuals were forced to abandon their homes without the ability to secure belongings. Emergency shelters lacked the capacity to support the rapid influx of evacuees. Families faced uncertainty surrounding food, livelihood, and long-term stability. Transportation systems experienced severe disruption as critical infrastructure failed under stress. Road failures and collapsed bridges prevented relief convoys from reaching affected areas. Rail corridors were submerged, stopping passenger and freight operations entirely. Emergency planning was impeded by ongoing hazardous conditions.
ลองอะไรแบบหนักมากครับตอนนี้ใกล้จะมิดสะพานแล้วสะพานเนี่ยเป็นสะพานข้ามไปฝั่งนู้นนะครับคือจะมิดสะพานอยู่
In Pattani, Yala, and Narathiwat, power outages increased during the peak of flooding, further complicating response efforts. Communication networks failed, leaving communities unable to request assistance. Local authorities struggled to coordinate rescues without reliable information. Vulnerable groups faced heightened risk during periods of total blackout.
ครับวันนี้ครับเจ็ตสกีมาเยอะนะครับคลื่นแรงนะครับตอนนี้นะครับน้ำเชี่ยวมากครับหน้าบิ๊กซีนะครับหน้าโรงเรียนสวัสดิ์บวรนะครับโรงเรียนพระราชทานนะครับ
Landslides contributed to additional hazards, particularly along mountainous routes and rural settlements. Slope failures destroyed homes and obstructed main roads linking isolated communities. Rescue teams required specialized equipment to traverse unstable terrain. Risks to personnel delayed search operations in some high danger zones. Public health infrastructure faced mounting pressure as floodwater contaminated drinking supplies. Disrupted sanitation systems elevated the risk of waterborne disease. Medical facilities received rising numbers of patients with injury and infection. Health officials warned of potential outbreaks if conditions did not improve. Hospitals operated under compromised conditions, using generators to maintain critical care services. Staff shortages and resource limitations hindered patient treatment. Emergency rooms experienced crowding as new cases arrived continuously. Patients with chronic conditions faced delays in receiving medication and monitoring.
สวัสดีค่ะเพื่อนๆดูนะคะเสาไฟหาดใหญ่จมมิดเลย
แอดมินเพจเฝ้าระวังน้ำท่วมหาดใหญ่นะครับตอนนี้อยู่ที่ถนนศรีภูวนาถนะครับเละหมดแล้วนะครับได้ข่าวว่าคืนนี้น้ำจะประมาณเพียงพอเจ้าหน้าที่เขาบอกมานะ
Economic losses were severe, with preliminary assessments estimating over 500 billion baht in damage. Agriculture, manufacturing, and trade sectors experienced widespread disruption. Many small businesses could not resume operations due to facility damage and financial strain. Recovery costs are expected to influence national economic policy.
หาดใหญ่ทางไปคนลังนะครับ
ต้องการโหอีกเลยไม่ได้ด้วยเนี่ยลุยเรียบพี่น้องเข้า
In many communities, homes and businesses were not merely damaged but rendered inoperable for extended periods. Property owners faced challenges securing funds for reconstruction. Insurance claims increased dramatically, overwhelming service providers. Long-term rebuilding will require significant capital investment. The weather system continued southward into Malaysia, causing heavy rainfall and flash flooding across multiple states. Local authorities activated emergency protocols in vulnerable regions. Floodwaters disrupted transportation and daily routines. Communities were forced to adapt quickly to deteriorating conditions. Casualty figures in Malaysia varied by report, ranging from 3 to over 10 fatalities. Local officials acknowledged difficulties in obtaining accurate data from hard-hit areas. Some deaths occurred during attempted evacuation. Authorities emphasized public compliance with safety directives.
Alam Indian in the estate.
Displacement numbers increased rapidly from an initial 11,000 people to over 100,000 evacuees across up to 9 states. Temporary housing centers struggled to accommodate rapid population growth. Families faced uncertainty regarding return timelines. Long-term relocation remains a possibility for some communities. Relief operations in both countries encountered similar obstacles, including damaged infrastructure and communication failures. Access delays affected health outcomes in vulnerable populations. Emergency personnel reported fatigue and logistical strain. Long-term support will be required to sustain recovery efforts.